Okay, welcome everybody. So excited to have you all with us, and it's really a joy and a delight, and so exciting. We're just in the week, just leading up to Shabbos Project, and really am so delighted and excited to share with you so much today, which will give a little bit of a feeling of what's happening around the world, and of course, right here in South Africa. So we have the most amazing panel of people. I'm going to introduce each one as they come on. We have people from all over the world, from London, from Nice, from Mexico City, and of course, a big contingent from right here in South Africa. So I want to start because I think, Shabbos Project, what makes it so special is that on the one hand, it's about these amazing unity events all over the world, and on the other hand, about real personal stories for each and every single one of us about our connection to Shabbos and what that connection means. So part of what we're going to be doing today is, on the one hand, we're going to be hearing from what's happening around the world. We're going to start with what's happening in London, and then in Nice, and then in Mexico City, from amazing people who are doing tremendous work there. And then we're going to have a look to some of the people from our community. A young couple, also a group of students, university students, high school students, who are going to be sharing their own personal journeys to Shabbos. So there'll be that personal dimension. And then we're going to also hear about this amazing and inspirational idea of Flowers For Shabbat. So it's really going to be an incredible journey today, in the short time that we have, to see what's going on all around the world, but also to see what's going on in people's hearts and homes. Because that's the theme for this year's Shabbos Project. It's all about bring it home, Shabbat, bringing it home, because we know that's really where Shabbos belongs, at home, and that is something which is so special. But we're at home, but also together with the whole world. So we've got so many wonderful things to share, and I'm going to jump right in to hear from Joanne Dove in London, who has really been putting together with our Shabbos Project team, a 24-hour challah bake that will be running almost round the clock through all of the time zones, because that's the amazing thing about Shabbos Project, because it's in more than 1,500 cities and more than 100 countries all around the world. We're covering all the time zones, and so it's amazing, this amazing rolling challah bake, which has also got a special stopover in Johannesburg. We're going to hear from one of the King David Victory Park students, who's going to tell us about that element of it. But just now, but first, Joanne, will you share with everyone what's happening on the challah bake? It's on Thursday night. That's right.
Okay, so first I just wanted to say thank you so much. And just in case anybody hasn't noticed, it's only 40 years since I left South Africa. And the one thing we have with us is our accent, and we take our South African energy wherever we go. So I want to say thank you for inviting me here to share what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to have the chutzpah and just send lots of love to family, friends, and everybody all over the world, because it's an incredibly special time to begin this now. So a few weeks ago, I think every year when we had our thousands after the very first challah bake, I had the pleasure of having Rabbanit Mizrahi here with us in London. And I said, if South Africa can get 1,000 people on the streets, we can get thousands in. And I think people really laughed and thought, you'll never do that. And our first year we had 3,000 and then 5,000. And the question was, what was this connecting place? And I used to say each time, can't we connect up with other people around the world so we can all see we are doing the same thing in different places, but we're doing it together? And the answer was always, it's too expensive. So there you go. So the years have passed, and Hashem has decided, God has decided that this is the way we are going to be running Shabbos Project, Shabbat Project this year. So a few weeks ago, I called up our wonderful Rachel Cohen here in London, who's been outstanding, and obviously Tanya and your whole crew who are outstanding. And I spoke to Dalia and Seed. I said, let's make this around the world in 24 hours. We can do it. And I started connecting up and reaching out to different people all over the world. It's the most beautiful, beautiful experience. You know, we've got Melly in South America, and you've got all these wonderful Jewish women all wanting to do the same thing. You know, it's the righteous woman that took us out of Egypt, and we are counting on all of the women, Jewish women around the world, putting in their power, their energy, their connection. This is the most beautiful time for prayer. So we've got to use this time for prayer all over the world to just connect and think about each other and each one of our challenges.
And tell me how many places, how many cities are involved in this 24-hour?
We have 19 cities. I'm going to be up, please God, I'm going to be up and awake. I'll be up from 5:30 Thursday morning, and we're going to be starting actually in Hong Kong and then to New Zealand, which is technically a little bit, we've been changing times all the time. And then we go Sydney, Melbourne, again Hong Kong, then we have Panama. We're showing Panama because they're actually all on holiday the whole week. We're going to Israel. We're going to be having a challah bake overlooking the Kotel. So the actual challah we made there. And then we're going to Dubai, South Africa, Moscow, the UK, Gibraltar, Peru, Colombia, Guatemala, Toronto, Mexico, New York, and finally ending in Vancouver, which I think for me, when we finish, will be about 4 a.m. the following morning.
Okay, amazing. Joanne, thank you so much and well done. That's brilliant, brilliant work. And it's so exciting because I think what it really emphasizes is the concept of unity. It's that we may be separated and people may be in lockdown and all kinds of things happening around the world, but we are connected in the deepest possible way. And when we connect around Shabbos and preparing for Shabbos, because that's what making challah is all about. It's about preparing for Shabbos. So that makes it so special. And we're going to hear about the Johannesburg component of that just now from Mia, who's on the call with all of us today. Joanne, thank you for your amazing work in this and for driving it and for flying the South African flag in London.
Wherever we go, I have to tell you, even in Dubai. But just one more thing is that everybody should encourage all your friends, your family, and everybody. You're going to click onto the here we go, chalahbake.global.chalahbake.com, and you just click on your flag, and wherever you want to be, you can sign in, make sure that you get all your ingredients at home, because as you say, we're going to turn our houses into Jewish homes, and challah takes us to Shabbat, Shabbat will take us to Kiddush, Kiddush takes us to the rest. So we look forward to all the blessing from all over the world. Thank you.
Okay, amazing. That's absolutely amazing. People can get full details of that on the site that Joanne mentioned, but of course, it's all there on the Shabbos Project website, Shabbos Project, or the shabbosproject.org, the shabbatproject.org, the shabbosproject.com. You can find it all. We're also going to put all of the website details in the chat. So thank you so much. And now we move from London to Nice in France, to south of France, and Dafna, who joins us, Dafna Benizri, who's been leading the project in Nice for a number of years. And Dafna, thank you for all the work that you've done over the years. I know that France, like the UK, has actually just gone back into lockdown, so I'm sure that's creating its own challenges. But we know that the community in Nice is a very brave and resilient community. We know that from the time, I remember that, the Shabbos Project that you put together that came soon after those terrorist attacks in Nice, and how you rallied the community. So Dafna, maybe if you'll tell us what is the mood like in Nice at the moment, and what have you got planned in south of France? Because I think maybe it's time that we'd like to all come and join and support in south of France, just for the cause, of course. But tell us, Dafna, what's going on your side?
Thank you very much, Ralph, for inviting me to a meeting. As you say, actually, yes, our situation in south of France is very, very difficult at the moment. Very difficult because we are in a lockdown complete, and also because it's now not a good time. We have a lot of terrorist attack, as I think you have heard about it. So it's a little bit a very strange situation by us, very difficult. And but I don't know why. I felt very much already before that the time would become very difficult in the time of the Shabbos Project. We were thinking all the time, what can we do in those difficult times? And as for me, it was very important the last years that we made the project that we have to make all three. We have to make a challah bake, we have to make the Hadlakat Nerot, a big evening where last year we have been over 520 people for Friday night meal and over 100 people for Shabbos lunch meal. And then we made also for over 500 people for Havdalah. So for me, it was very important also this year to a little bit remind that we have to do also the three brochas, that is very important. So we were thinking a lot of that. So now we will start tonight. We'll make a whole week with every night the shiurim. So we will have our first night shiurim only for women tonight. We will have this week shiurim for mixed people with rabbonim. And we will have another night for shiurim for women. We will talk all about Shabbos to really to explain them how important it is now that Shabbos has really to come back home, because we will meet each other every year and it was very exciting, but now we have also to continue to make Shabbos at home. And this is a little bit more difficult to explain to people that don't know how to make Shabbos, that they have to make Shabbos at home. So it is very important for us. And we made like a competition that they have to send us the most nicest movies and videos, how to make challahs. And this Thursday night that actually we have to be all together, like last year we have to be over 600 women. So this year, all these women we will meet up together in a live show on Zoom, on video, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that we will make a little bit an evening to talk about what we have filmed last year, and also to show them who made the best video that they sent to us. That's for Thursday night. And then we will make a competition that everybody has to send us the most beautiful table for Shabbos, because I want to see that really they lay the nicest table for Shabbos with candle lighting, with kiddush, with everything, but they have to do it before Shabbos is coming in. And for Motzei Shabbos, we will make a live Facebook with our Rabbi of Nice, that he will make Havdalah for everybody that joined through Facebook and YouTube. That's what will be this year for in Nice.
And tell me, I know that like Strasbourg in France has also always done some beautiful things, and things also, you know, in Paris there's some nice things which are happening.
Yeah.
To me, what I think is important, and this is a general thing about the Shabbos Project, is that whatever complications and sometimes challenges and difficulties in the world, Shabbos Project comes with a message of hope and optimism and light and inspiration, you know, in spite of the difficulties.
Exactly.
But just tell me, in Strasbourg, maybe do you want to share with the people of what's going on in Strasbourg, because it's also always been like a beacon of light in terms of the Shabbos Project, or anything else in France that you maybe want to share?
I think in Paris, they're doing actually Paris has become very difficult because their program that they made, it was that they have to visit Jewish synagogues. They wanted also to make, they wanted to share also, they want to visit, they want to show a few things in Paris. They want to show them also how to make kiddush and everything. It's become very difficult in Paris because Paris, it's much more infected by the virus than by us. I don't know how they will change their plans. They wanted to make a historical day also to talk about all the history of the Jewish life. I don't know how they will do it this year because it becomes really very, very difficult in Paris. And also Strasbourg, they make a challah bake, also this Thursday night, I think by Zoom. You have to know that the Jewish community in south of France was very lucky because we didn't have so many Jews, Baruch Hashem, in fact, and it wasn't so hard by us that it has been in Strasbourg and in Paris. It was very, very hard in Strasbourg and Paris, and I think they are all very, very tired, psychologically also very much infected. They're a little bit more in a negative mood than we are here in Nice because it's normal. They had a very hard time and it's restart again. So they tried to make a lot of things, but it's much more difficult than by us in Nice, because I can understand it's much harder for them.
Understand. Okay, so Nice is leading the way in France, and thank you, Dafna, for all of your partnership for many years now. You've been involved in the project for many, many years, and thank you for everything that you've done. This is the amazing thing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this wonderful project.
And Joanne all over the world who are leading their communities and making such a difference. So thank you so much. And now we're gonna go across to the other side of the world to Mexico City. And have very dear friend Emilio Penhos, who's a community leader in Mexico, and Emilio has been leading Shabbos Project initiatives in Mexico for a number of years, and Emilio's going to share with us a little bit of what's happening in Mexico, but also across Latin America, because Latin America has been the most an amazing region in terms of Shabbos Project, in terms of its enthusiasm and involvement. And Emilio, tell us what's going on in Mexico at the moment in terms of the mood of the community, but we go straight into Shabbos Project. So wonderful to have you with us. Thank you, Emilio.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you very much. First of all, I have to tell you that it's a pleasure to join the conversation with people from all over the world. And number one, we have to say we have a great leader, a leader who many years ago thought that joining all the Jews from all over the world in a way that we never imagined, in a project that can change our lives in some democratic way, in so connected, that we are like one people in a very specific situation that we are living now. I believe that maybe God sent you some prophecy, Rabbi, that in any time we're going to be everybody in our houses doing Shabbat. So you got a great idea for 2020. I don't know how you get it, but you get it.
Thank you, Emilia. What's going on in Mexico? Share with us. Thank you.
Let me tell you what is going on. Number one, Shabbos Project is running in Mexico for 7 years. Just from the beginning, we were like the first countries to join the Shabbos Project. And one of the things that we started when we started the Shabbos Project is to join all the communities together as one partner of South Africa. So we try to connect all of the people from the different communities, the Sephardic, the Ashkenazim, the ones that came from Russia, Poland, everybody joined by one, being one partner. So the objective in 2020 was more ambitious, was like joining all Latin America as one partner. And that's what we done in this time. We connect with many partners from Latin America. We were doing some activities. Maybe I'm going to share very quick something that I want to share with everybody. Number one, I have to tell you that the rabbi was inviting me to the board, the advisory board, connecting with many important personalities from all over the world. And I don't know how you do it, Rabbi, but you find out the way to have most of the most influential Jewish people in this project. And I feel very, very excited about talking about that with people so interesting. So you make a huge connection for the Shabbos Project. What we're doing in Mexico.
Sorry, Senator Joe Lieberman and Natan Sharansky, who are well-known figures who have a deep connection to Shabbat, and they've both been very supportive of the Shabbos Project all around the world. So thank you for sharing that, Emilia.
What we're doing in Mexico, it's something amazing because we connect all the Jewish organizations to do together the Challah and the Abdallah. But the greatest thing is that we connect all the Latin American countries in the process of being together. All the Rabbanim, all the women committees, everybody's going to join in the Challah. And for all over the world, we're going to do the Abdallah in an incredible and beautiful ceremony with the best singers that we have in Spanish. also Jewish music. Some of the things that I want to say about Latin America is an initiative made it by the Cali community. They are sending to each house this kit. It's an amazing one. I don't know if anybody of you have any wine club or something like that, but it's something like that. You receive like a package with all the information, all the products that you need to do your Shabbat, and it's something that is very creative and a great initiative from the Colombia community. The other one that I want to explore is we've been doing many webinars of many topics of business during this pandemic, talking about human resources, business, retail, and many things. So we try to find out how to bring the most influential business people who is doing business, great business and big business all around the world and in Mexico, to talk about how they live their life, but around the Shabbat, showing that Shabbat is the main key for the success. So we're gonna have that on Thursday. I believe it's going to be very interesting because all of them really believe that all of their success depends on the Shabbat that they're keeping. This is the things that I want to share very quickly, and saying to you, Rob, that always it's incredible to be part of this project that connects all the Jews all around the world. I believe and I feel that these kind of things are bringing the Mashiach come very soon, because it's a great job, and having all of you together in this conversation make me optimism to find out that the virus is bringing bad things for the people that are passing this hard times, but also is bringing us a big opportunity to show us that we are one people and we are together, and we're showing God that we're prepared to have the Mashiach finally.
Thank you, Emilio, and thank you for all of your friendship over the years. The Mexican Jewish community reminds me a lot of the South African Jewish community. It's a very special community, and I know that there's a very high percentage of children that are in Jewish day schools, and very high sense of Jewish identity and involvement. And it's a beautiful and wonderful community. So, Emilio, thank you. Thank you for partnership.
Rabbi, if you don't mind, I want to share very quick. It's a small video made it by children, something that I believe it's something very nice. Let me give you 1 minute to all of you, and you're gonna like it very much.
Nos da luz para el futuro. Veo, ¿quién es? ¡Terminero durmiendo! ¡La No te pierdas la Plaza Internacional. Únete con todas las comunidades de Latinoamérica.
Wow, that's magnificent. Thank you so much. So inspiring. So beautiful to see all these kids from all over Latin America. And I find it so heartwarming. It's so heartwarming because it's not, all of our kids can relate to exactly what they're doing. So maybe, you know, if one's speaking English, one's speaking Spanish, but it doesn't matter. We're speaking the same language. We're talking about Shabbos and Havdalah, and also, like, for me, what I just found out was getting like cold shivers as I was watching it. Just the sense of like this world's in the pandemic, but we're not going to get down by it. You know, that Shabbos is stronger, and Am Yisrael, the Jewish people, are stronger, and it was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Amelia.
Thank you very much, and Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
Shalom. Thank you, Emilio. Okay, great. So now, after having taken a journey through London and then to south of France and Mexico, we're now coming back all the way back to Johannesburg. And I want to ask Mia from King David Victory Park, who's leading our Challah Bake this year and is going to be participating in the global 24-hour round-the-clock Challah Bake. And Mia and a group of amazing students from our Jewish day schools are leading this year's Challah Bake, and they are really taking the initiative and making that happen. And it'll be so amazing for all of us to participate in it. So Mia, will you share with us? Tell us what's going on, and how did you guys get to take over this year's Challah Bake?
Hi, so basically I'm the co-head of outreach at King David Victory Park. And for me personally, the Challah Bake for the Shabbos Project is my favorite part of the year. And it's just incredible. It's time to spend with your family and your friends. And we are really, really sad that it couldn't happen this year. And because I'm so passionate about outreach and Challah is such an important thing to all of us, I thought that we should have an online Challah Bake where people can donate money, which will be donated to different organizations all over South Africa. And the whole theme of the Challah Bake is bake one, donate one. So when you bake a challah, you donate one. You can donate it to a friend, a family like member, someone on the side of the street, but there will be drop-off points all over South Africa. And we have teamed up with different schools in Johannesburg, like Yeshiva and King David Linksfield, as well as schools in Cape Town and East London and Durban. So we just wanted to unite the whole community and like have a special time to spend with your friends and your family. And also we wanted to shine a light on female empowerment with all of this gender-based violence happening in South Africa, because Challah is such a special time for women to pray and just to show who we are and have a fun time as well. So we just wanted to bring awareness with that, and at the same time, doing something fun and helping other people.
Okay, Mia, that's amazing. And maybe will you just share with us a little bit, has it been a lot of work behind the scenes with you and your committee? I'm sure there's been, I saw, you've done some of these beautiful videos, and my wife and I participated as well in that. It seems like you guys are having a lot of fun, but is there a lot of hard work? How big is your committee? What's going on behind the scenes? Maybe share with us a little bit about that.
So I've actually been planning this since July, because in lockdown you have a long time to think. But we've actually gotten started on this in September. And how it started was I spoke to my committee member, Mia Martheze, and then we got a hold of Jake Copant, who's the head of outreach at Linksfield. And then I know Robin Schmuckler, and she has been incredible. We got a hold of her, and she got us in touch with Lawrence Horowitz. So it hasn't just been like one person doing it. It's been such an incredible team putting everything together, and everyone's holding their weight. It's really been incredible. Of course, it's a lot of work because we want to make this as big and as flawless as possible. But it is so much fun working with other people and hearing people's ideas, and just, it's all for the fun. And at the end of the day, all we want to do is help people. Yeah.
What I love about what you guys have done is that you've said it's not only about a Challah Bake. I mean, a Challah Bake is amazing and it's preparing for Shabbos, but it's also about chesed and caring for other people and generosity and kindness, which is so important. And also I love, what you was talking about, the sense of women's empowerment and a sense of saying the importance of the power of women coming together and what that means, So I think you've brought in all of these elements in such a beautiful way.
Thank you. So the link I know is on the Shabbos Project, and I think they've posted it in the chat, and it is 18 Rand. It's 18 Rand for Challah, but people are more than welcome to donate however much money they want. The limit it's there, and it's this week Thursday at 5, so that we can join into the 24-hour Challah Bake.
Okay, great. So people can register. They can go to the Shabbos Project website, and you'll find all the details there, and you can register. It's going to be this Thursday, late afternoon, early evening, and I think it's just going to be so much fun. And I think this, to me, is so beautiful about the innovation, because you could say, what will Shabbos Project look like in a year of Corona? And actually, the answer is, whatever we want it to look like. And that's an important lesson in life, that we can't be dictated to by circumstances. We innovate and create. So Mia, please convey to your whole committee how proud we all are of you, and that we're so happy that you guys are leading from the front and are running this year's Big Challah Bake for the South African Jewish community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And now, what I wanted to share with everybody. So we've heard some of the amazing events that are happening all around the world. And it's been amazing, the sense of unity and people responding and coming together. Like Emilio was pointing out, that in a certain sense this year with Corona, it's actually been a catalyst for even greater unity. So that instead of just Mexico doing something on its own, the whole of Latin America is doing something together. And you're seeing that children's video really showed that so powerfully. But the other part of Shabbos Project, and I think it's so important, there are two elements. One is the unity, the celebration, the coming together. The other part of Shabbos Project is connection with Shabbos itself. And this year, the major theme of the Shabbos Project is Shabbat, bring it home. There's the real sense that Shabbos belongs at home, and that Shabbos Project is about the deep personal connection that each of us have with Shabbos, and it's about that journey of growth. And so I'm very happy to have with us today Amanda Craig Shapiro, who've been on an amazing personal journey, connected to the Shabbos Project, connected to Shabbos. And I asked them to share a little bit of their story with all of us today, because Shabbos Project is about these incredible unity events, which are a great celebration, but it's also about this personal journey to a deeper connection with Shabbos. So Amanda and Craig, thank you so much for joining today. And for being part of this and being prepared to share. Welcome.
Thanks, Rabbi. Thanks, Rabbi. Thank you for having us. And really, you've done truly, truly amazing things, as you can see, with everybody around the world, just connecting. It's just so unbelievable to see. And in fact, the first Shabbos we ever kept was the Shabbos Project. Wow. I think it was the 23rd and 24th of October. It was 6 years ago. And that was, we had a series of events leading up to that, but that was the first Shabbos we kept, and we've never looked back. And please God, we never will. It's completely, it's magic for us.
Tell me, guys, like maybe just share a little bit. What did you find, like, on that first Shabbos? Like, sort of, what was the impression? Why is, as you were saying, that was the first Shabbos that you kept, and now you keep it. And so, what is that? What led to that journey? What have you found in it in terms of your life, and how was that first Shabbos? Maybe just share with us some, if you don't mind sharing some personal insights with such a big audience, if you guys are comfortable with that.
I just put down Brene Brown's gift of imperfection, which is all about vulnerability. So it feels like this kind of webinar is all about sort of vulnerability, especially when you're talking about a personal story. But so I think we were on two very different journeys, Craig and I, in terms of Shabbos. So I was, I've always been part of a very close group of friends, I would say very powerful, very amazing women. And we were all kind of interested in Shabbos from the time we were at school, but so it moved to kind of keeping our phones off on Shabbos, and then not going out for lunches and things like that. But it was kind of like, it remained like that. And then it kind of moved a bit forward to, okay, maybe go to shul, you have your phone off. And Craig was always like, when we first got married, there's no way. It's like, I've got gym on a Saturday, that's what I do.
Work, a whole bunch of things.
His whole work kind of was very much weekend focused. It was just not going to be an option. So my advice to anyone who's in this position is just take a step back. Hashem will make a plan. Hashem will make it work if that's what you kind of are wanting. And then Craig will talk a little bit about how he kind of came on board. Probably still be just having my phone off on Shabbos and not kind of, I'd probably still be sitting on the fence if Craig didn't say, let's do this. And literally from the time he said, let's do this, which was the first Shabbos project, we just never looked back.
I think, Reb, there was a series of events that took place that was happening alongside, Amanda trying to push me to keep Shabbos. And I was totally uninterested. I mean, I remember her, Motzei Shabbos, wanting to do a Havdalah and, asking me if I wanted to come just stand there. And I would say, I'm absolutely not interested. And there was a series of events that took place that kind of culminated into a point where we got invited to this one couple's house for Shabbos. And we were completely insensitive. This was a religious house that we were going to, rang the doorbell, drove in, and the minute we got into this house, we were able to tap into the essence and the energy of what Shabbos is about. And when we watched, at the time we had a 1-year-old, and when we watched how this family blessed their children and the kibbut avaim and the shalom bayit in the house, I think we both immediately were hooked. We actually lived 500 meters down the road. We drove back down the road. We both sat on the couch that night and we absolutely bawled. And we decided that this was the life that we wanted to live. And the very next Shabbos happened to be the Shabbos Project, which was an incredible launch pad, an opportunity for us. And from then on, we've never looked back, thank God.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's amazing how sort of you walking into a kind of real Shabbos experience. Because I think, what I find interesting about it, in a certain way, you can't like describe or tell people what Shabbos is. They almost have to experience it for yourself. Does that resonate with what, it's like how much can you explain? You actually have to taste it, right? It's like trying to describe to someone, what does chocolate taste like? Well, you have to taste it, it's not gonna.
So one of those like series of events that took place is we got close to an older couple as well, who started keeping Shabbos in their 50s. And they were telling us, you don't know what you're missing out on. And I just couldn't understand what they were talking about. I said, I think you guys are nuts. What could you be missing out on? There's nothing to do, and when we tapped into the essence and the energy of what Shabbos truly was about, from just spending time with the kids and how that has changed our life, from a working perspective and from a personal perspective, has just been so magnanimous.
Wow, that's amazing. And maybe you want to, I know we were like saying it's hard to describe, but maybe can you guys describe a little bit like what does that mean? I mean, Craig, you've got a high-powered job and you guys are juggling lots of things and your like school responsibilities and raising a young family. So there's so much kind of going on. I don't know, maybe either of you or both of you want to share like what has it meant to you as a family, now that you have Shabbos in your lives? What has been like sort of the difference between having it and not having it? I don't know if,
I think Shabbos is a lifeline for the kind of lives that we lead and the kind of lives that everyone leads. We both have careers. It's busy. We've got 3 young kids. And it's a pause. It's like that God-given pause. I literally, when I light my Shabbos candles, I literally feel my shoulders go down. And I mean, my friends laugh at me because my phone goes off about an hour before Shabbos because I cannot wait to disconnect. And if you ask our kids, what's your favorite day of the week? Their favorite day of the week is Shabbos. Why? Because what should I really say?
Daddy doesn't work, mommy doesn't work, there's no screens, there's no cell phones, and it's time together.
Yeah, it's amazing. And tell me this, because sometimes I know it's also like, especially in South Africa, there's the sense of Shabbos means Friday night, but the concept of Shabbos being 25 hours, that it's not over Friday night and then Saturday morning, it's like shops and gym and everything like that. I'm sure that's also been a bit of a paradigm shift in terms of what you do. Like, what does like the concept of 25 hours mean versus just Friday night, and then like Saturday morning would be back to normal? Like that sense of immersion, maybe. I don't know. It's
I think what for us, Reb, what it resembles is the end of the week. That you have this full 24 hours or 25 hours where you're with your family, where there's no interruption, and your week actually ends. Because without that, otherwise it's just a small amount of pausing on a Friday night, and then you wake up the next day and it's back to normal. But to wake up on a Shabbos morning after you've had a great schlaf or sleep, and you're waking up and you've just got this full day ahead of you, where you know that this is going to be also a spiritual day, which you tap into, is for us, I think has been one of the main features for us. Just to be together, to walk to shul with the kids, and to just talk on the way to shul, and to have this time out of our everyday lives, in the morning, where you now, not just the Friday night, but now Shabbos morning, walking to shul as a family, or even with the kids, has just been, we would never have these opportunities and these discussions in everyday week life. So that Shabbos day is also huge, and also for friends and the socializing and the going to shul and, having lunches and the like, which I'm actually getting to a point where I want to not have the lunches. I want to be antisocial. We don't now anymore. But, you just got an ability to choose what you want to do.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that you say that, because it's kind of the mental load. When I had the discussion with Professor Dan Ariely, and he was saying, as this world-class psychologist, he says, it's one thing to say I've got the day off. It's another thing to say I'm not allowed to work, because then the mental load is completely gone. It's a person could say, look, I'm not going to look at my phone for the day, but then it's hanging there, and he's thinking, well, I could, and you both have got, sort of demanding careers. Craig, I think everyone knows, your business is famous with people, and it's like high pressure as well. So it's like, but then knowing that you actually can't go there, it's like that sense of the lifting of the mental load. Does that resonate, that concept?
I remember when we, after the Shabbos Project, and we decided that we were going to keep Shabbos, I had to meet with my management team, and I had to let them know that on the busiest
business, because everyone knows it. I mean, can have a free mention of it, yeah.
So it's in the hospitality and the events industry, which on the weekend is generally the busiest time. And I had to sit around with our management team and let them know that I'd be completely checking out. But it was immensely empowering for them to have to now understand that, this is a reality. And it was even more empowering for me to be able to let go. And that's really what Shabbos represents, is the ability to just totally let go. So I think from a business perspective, and it's also had really amazing impact on the business, and also on the team as well, just giving them the opportunity to really be empowered.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing, because our sages say that, Shabbos is the source of all blessing. So somehow by keeping it, and unleashes blessings that one can't foresee. And Amanda, as a community psychologist, because that's your specialty from a psychological point of view, if what would you advise if people are watching and listening and they want to go on this journey? What would you advise them, from even as a psychologist and as a community psychologist, looking at the dynamics of people? What is Shabbos, the benefits that it brings, and maybe just a guidance for people of how to begin this journey if it feels a little bit daunting?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I love what Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs says, that Shabbos is the ultimate seminar in work-life balance. And actually, we need those rules of Shabbos to, like you say, someone can say, well, I'm just not going to look at my phone. But actually, you need those halachot, to guide you. I worked at an NGO once, and a lady who worked with me wasn't Jewish, and she said, I'm so jealous. I wish I had Shabbos, and you need those kind of boundaries to say, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do, because that's what creates the peace and the kind of energy of it. So I think from a practical perspective, if you can surround yourself by people, or try to connect with people that have a Shabbos experience, try to be in their home, because there's nothing like experiential learning. There's just nothing that can touch that. To have that experience, to ask questions, and to risk, to try it. I think a lot of times we don't try these kind of things because it's so fear-based. But to try it, and to open up a conversation, and to have mentors around you that you can talk to. And from a psychological perspective, in the world that we are living in, I don't know how people are surviving without Shabbos. The burnout, the stress, it's become an essential. I think.
No, that's amazing. I love that. It's no longer a luxury Shabbos. Once upon a time, maybe it was a luxury. It's an essential. And I suppose the best way people can start is the way you guys started your journey, which is a Shabbos project. So this coming Shabbos is the Shabbos to keep, and let that be the start of a journey. So I'm so grateful to you guys for coming on to share. I don't know if there's any last words you want to share. And we've got some, want to hear from some of the other people on our panel. And I'm so grateful to you for coming on this afternoon and sharing so generously of your time, and also, of your personal journey.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, great. So we've got some students who are joining us. We have Bianca from Cape Town at Herzliya, who's in grade 12 and about to start matric exams. And that's like always a challenging thing, matric exams in a time of Corona. And Bianca, you've been on an amazing journey to keeping Shabbos. And will you share with us what about your journey, Bianca? And firstly, tell us what's matric looking like at the moment.
Matric's really tough at the moment. It's really hard to find that discipline to actually get yourself to work, especially because most of it is online. And now because of finals, we all have to be extra careful with Corona, because if we get it, we can't write, which is horrible. I mean, the whole next year would be ruined. But yeah, other than that, everyone's just got their head down, focused, working.
Okay, great. So tell us your journey to keeping Shabbat. It started, maybe will you share with us, how did that happen, and kind of what does it mean to you?
So I've always gone to Herzliya. So I've always grown up with the Jewish atmosphere. My home's very traditional, nothing more. My friends, one of my best friends actually, she keeps Shabbat, and she's one of the 2 people in the grade who did. It's actually kind of weird because in Cape Town, it almost feels, especially at school, like if you take a deeper interest in Shabbat or in Judaism, it's kind of considered a bit like weird because we don't have those older role models who can show us that you can still be religious and cool. So I was never really interested in it, at all. It was just a side thing. And then one year I became quite close to Shlicha from Israel, from Bnei Akiva, and they convinced me to go on camp. And I just remember my first time on camp, on Shabbat, the atmosphere and the air. I walked into the shul and I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. It was full and it was optional and it was camp. It didn't make sense to me. So I went to shul, and I remember standing there feeling quite empowered by and inspired by everyone around me, but also a little bit embarrassed because I didn't really know anything. Didn't know the pages, I didn't know the songs, didn't really know where to start. One of my muddies, she helped me a lot. So she saw that it was something that I was interested in. She taught me, she showed me all the pages. I learned with her at EQT every day. And also just learning, that was something I'd never even considered. And it became the highlight of my day. She really helped me. She taught me so much. And it was nice because we had the same interests in the same parts. And she also didn't used to keep Shabbat. And then she started. So after camp, I knew I wanted to do more. I wasn't really sure what, because at that stage, keeping Shabbat was still a little bit too much for me. So it's quite, a lot of my friends laugh, but I just started doing meat and milk. I just waited after having meat and milk, yeah. And then I started keeping one Shabbat a month, and my Mari from Joburg, she used to come down to Cape Town quite often to have Shabbos, B'nai Shabbos with us. And that kept the inspiration up. Every time I started fading, she kept coming back. So that was great. That really helped. And then on Discover, all the Joburg Maddies came down to Cape Town, and the grades started to see see all the religious people, but that they weren't necessarily that they were cool, they were normal people, because before they weren't really considered like that. And then when people started to understand, because peer pressure was quite a big thing for me, I was like, you know what, why can't I do this? Like, if they can do it, I can do it. Now people are starting to understand, like, let's do it. So I spoke to my Maddie, because she happened to be a Maddie on campus on Discover as well, which is the Joe Big encounter. And I started keeping Shabbat from that Discover weekend, and I've been keeping it ever since. Yeah. Amazing.
And tell me, what do you get out of Shabbos? Like, what does it mean to you? What is, it's, and like explaining to people, why is it something that you've been drawn to? I mean, we know it's part of who we are as Jews, and it's important as a Jew to keep it, and Hashem gave it, but your personal connection to it.
I think it started on camp when I saw these Maddies. Like, I was completely like, they were like, I don't know, like complete role models for me. Like their outlook, just how they carry themselves, like how, just everything about them. And I wasn't used to seeing that in Cape Town, because we don't really have older religious people here. And I knew I was really inspired by them, and I was like, okay, I want to be like them. Like, they really were like everything I wanted to be. Like, just, I can't even explain it to you. Just, maybe it was also because it was on camp and the atmosphere. But so then I knew the way for me to be almost like that is I need to start learning. And when I started learning, it started off with more like about God and more philosophical ideas, and not necessarily that. And I enjoyed it, so I kept on doing that. And that made me, because of that, it made me want to actually know the reasons behind it. So then you start learning more about like halakha and getting into stuff like that. And I just enjoyed it. And like, even learning, like it like broadened my mind more than like my schoolwork. Like, it was, and nobody seems to understand that, even still some today. But like, it was just, yeah, I enjoyed it so much. And even now, like with working with Matric, like I work so hard all week, and if I take a break during the week, I feel guilty that I'm not working. But as you said earlier, like on Shabbat, because I know I'm not allowed to, I don't feel that guilt, and I can actually rest. Whereas during the week, like I can't. It's just a constant, it's like guilty for not working.
Amazing. So I hear beautifully. What you're saying is, it's like the sense of the social, it's the emotional, it's the intellectual, it's got all of these different dimensions, and there's like, I hear from your real sense of instinct, like you can feel this is right and you want a connection to it. So well done on your journey, Bianca, and thank you so much for joining us today and sharing, and also good luck for exams. Stay healthy and write well, and we're rooting for you. So
thank you so much.
Success. Okay, great. We also have with us Jordan, who's in university, and he's keeping Shabbos, and he also has like an interesting perspective. And I thought it's just so important for all of us to share personal experiences from all different walks of life, because it's something which is personal, and by sharing these personal stories, it really opens all of our hearts and minds. So Jordan, welcome, and thank you for being with us today. And you're on WITS, is that right? You're at WITS University.
Hello everyone, hello Rabbi, thank you for having me. Yes, I am at WITS University.
Okay, great. And tell us your journey, your journey to keeping Shabbos. Maybe just tell us a little bit about it. What's it been like, and what's your personal connection? Start with your journey. It's been a journey. Everyone goes on a journey.
Yeah. So my journey, I went to King David Linksfield. I think like most people from South Africa, I come from a traditional home where like we kept a Friday night, but then on Saturday it was almost like you do what you want. It's not really a thing. I was brought up in a Jewish home, like always kosher, but there wasn't really like any fundamentals of keeping Shabbos or anything like that. It was purely traditional. I also found that when I was like going through high school, I started having like a lot of questions about certain things, and I couldn't really find the right people to answer my questions. So because I wasn't really like getting the answers that I was looking for, it all of made me take like a back foot and almost like resist against anything. Like I stopped doing like okay, Friday nights I carried on, but like everything sort of just took a back seat. And then luckily enough, I got the opportunity to go an amazing gap year. It's called Awesome Student. And I was, which takes place in Israel. And I sort of realized when I was there, the environment I was in Israel. I was surrounded by like amazing people, amazing mentors, amazing rabbis. I went with all of my friends, and some of my friends did keep Shabbos, which were on the year. Some of my friends didn't. And I looked at them and I sort of like asked them, I said, like, why do you keep Shabbos? Like, what's the whole like chap about it? And they sort of told me, and I didn't really understand it. And they were just like, try it. Like, what can hurt? So I was like, okay. And so I gave it a go. I kept one or so Shabbos, and like always the first Shabbos wasn't like so easy, I would say. But as time went on, and as like I also had the opportunity to go to Shiva, I started finding those answers that I was almost looking for. And it almost made me then want to do it, because I found out once I learned about something and I understood it, and I wanted to put it like into practice, for example, some halachas and all that kind of stuff. So then I kept another Shabbos, and I like went fully in, like no phone, nothing. And it almost like, I don't know, I was walking home from a Shabbos lunch, and it like hit me, the impact of I'm in Israel, everyone around me is keeping Shabbos, and like I have a sense of just like peace and rest, and my mates around me are keeping Shabbos, and I was just in a beautiful environment and beautiful people around me and mentors, and I just felt like that was the perfect time for me to get on my journey, keep Shabbos. And then luckily one Shabbos led into another and another, and it just carried on after that.
Amazing. I think what's so interesting is that the same thing came from Amanda and Craig, the sense of you have to try it. Like you can describe everything. And then I also think the interesting thing that comes across from what you've said, and it came across in what Bianca said, and that is the intersection between also learning more about Judaism and then living it. So there's one aspect is like the living and the experience, and the other is learning, because there's so much wisdom in the Torah, and it's Hashem's wisdom. So as you learn that, then it like opens your mind, and then you experience it, and it's like the intersection between like life and wisdom. I don't know, does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Okay, great. And in terms of helping you manage your university life and everything like that, is how do you manage with all of that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been said, there's really no feeling like keeping Shabbos. I'll almost look back to matric, how when my mates kept Shabbos in matric, I couldn't understand how they did it. I couldn't, like, how do you take a break when you're writing an exam on Monday? Like, surely you're panicking, surely you're stressing, surely it's on your mind. But what I realized when I came back to Johannesburg and there's university and tests and everything, that it was said, but as soon as Shabbos comes in, my shoulders drop. Like, there's nothing on my mind. There's completely no worry. There's no stress. And it's pretty amazing, because I don't understand it myself, because when I'm chilling during the week or I'm on holiday, there's still work hanging around your head. There's still a worry. But when it comes to Shabbos, completely switch off. Don't even think about work. And as it was said, it almost like rejuvenates you, because you've had this 25 hours of rest. And then Sunday comes, and now you have a new week ahead of you. And yeah, I mean, personally for me, if Shabbos, I don't know what I would have been doing in university without Shabbos, because it's just truly, truly amazing.
Amazing. Thank you, Jordan. I relate to what all of you guys are saying. I also feel, with the stresses of my job, I actually have no idea what I would do without Shabbos. And there's nothing like that feeling of switching off your phone, like the total empowerment of that. That's it, and that means no work can be done for 25 hours. It's not even an option. So that concept of mental load. Jordan, thank you so much for being on today and for sharing, your personal journey. So appreciate it. We have one more personal journey to share. Thank you so much. Alexa, thank you for joining us. We're just going to hear from Alexa and her personal story, and then to wrap up with something with a beautiful end to our discussion today. So just thank you all for being part of it. Alexa, if you could share with us, your story. You're also at university at the moment. Maybe just tell us, what degree are you doing? Share with everyone, and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Hello, Rabbi. Thank you so much for having me here today. So I'm at Wits University, the same as Jordan. I'm also in my second year because I took the same gap year in 2018. I went on the awesome student gap year. I'm studying actuarial science. And basically my story is quite similar to Jordan's, but I'll say this. I think a part of me always wanted to keep Shabbos in high school, but there were always excuses. You know, unfortunately, I suffer from FOMO. And I thought missing out on parties and spending time with my friends would really hinder my social life. And also with matric, how Jordan was saying that he couldn't understand how people kept Shabbos in matric. I was so scared for my work life as well. So I remember going on camp and I kept 7 Shabboses in a row and I loved it. But then I got back to school and I just felt it was too difficult. But then going on the gap year in 2018 completely changed my life. I think Amanda and Craig said it really well when they said that experiential learning is the best kind of education you can have. And not only was I fortunate enough to learn at a seminary where really I did most of my learning about Shabbos, but I spent Shabbos at some of the most inspiring and amazing families in Israel. And it really inspired me to keep Shabbos. You know, I spent Shabbos with like really close families in Jerusalem. And then I spent Shabbos with like ex-South Africans in Ranana, and then we went to Sfat, and I spent Shabbos with the most spiritual people I've ever met. And really spending Shabbos with all these different people kind of gave me the idea in my mind of what kind of Shabbos table I want to have one day. And I knew it wasn't like, okay, I'll keep one Shabbos and see how it goes. From the first Shabbos, I was like, oh, I have a group of girls to keep Shabbos with, like I'm going to do it the whole year. And I did. And coming back, I thought it would be really challenging because I'd never been you know, learning. Like in matric, it was really difficult. I couldn't imagine not working on a Saturday, but coming back and like you said, not allowing yourself to work, it was a non-negotiable for me. And that's why I don't think that it was very challenging, because I came home and I knew that Shabbos was my day of rest. And before going on my gap year, I really saw Shabbos as a sacrifice, you know, like it's a day I can't do anything on. But now I see it as so much more than that. It's a day that really benefits me. It's a day that I can take into the new week and use the day to reflect on the week behind me and, you know, take in the new energy of Shabbos into my new week. And it really just benefits me. And like Amanda said, I don't know how people survive without Shabbos. I don't know what I would do without it.
Amazing. And I'm sure, you know, actuarial science is a tough degree, isn't it? It really requires a lot of hard work. And so I think this idea of what you're talking about, replenishment, because, you know, and replenishment, I think, is not just physical. It's like replenishment emotionally, replenishment spiritually, so that then you like feel full, you know, for the week and like kind of ready and not depleted. Is that like the concept of replenishment and depletion? Does that resonate with you in terms of how to?
Definitely. I think that spiritually I almost need it, and I rely on Shabbos for the rejuvenation for the week to come. And I think that when I was so fearful of not being able to accomplish all the work that I had planned of the week, it actually makes you get everything done in time for Shabbos. And then it makes you be like more inspired and more energetic for the week to come when it comes to work. So I think that I've only benefited from keeping Shabbos, whereas I thought it would be a sacrifice and it would hinder my lifestyle. But it's changed my life for the better completely.
Okay, amazing. Alexa, thank you so much for sharing, you know, your personal story. It reminds me actually, you know, where it says in the verse in the 10 Commandments, it says 6 days you must work and finish all of your work. And one of the commentaries say there, well, how do you finish all your work in 6 days? But it says you go into Shabbos as if you feel like all your work is done. You know, that's the amazing thing. It's like lifting that mental load because you can't do it. So now, you know, it's so guys, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to all of you for sharing. And I wanted to share with our community and with people all around the world these personal stories, because actually, you know, the Shabbos is such a gift. It's the one mitzvah in the entire Torah that is actually, according to the Talmud, is called a gift. It's properly a gift that God gives us as something to enhance our lives in the most incredible way. And that's, it's a journey, you know, and hopefully that journey for so many others can also begin this coming Shabbos Project. So that's really what it's about. It's about a personal journey. So on the one hand, Shabbos Project is about these amazing unity events in Nice and in Mexico City and in London. But on the other hand, and Johannesburg, of course, the home of it all, and Cape Town, but it's really about these personal journeys, the real sense of, you know, how do we take this magical gift that Hashem has given us and make it a part in our lives. So we're going to end our discussion. I know we've gone you know, a little bit over time today, but we're going to end now with something so beautiful to sign off, and that is Flowers for Shabbat, which is an amazing part of this Shabbos project, which links South Africa and Israel, because the real concept behind it is that there have been some amazingly generous donors who've sponsored bouquets of flowers to be sent to heroes in Israel and in South Africa who've been remarkable through this time of Corona, and you know, that we all want to recognize. And so people can go onto the Shabbos Project website, and you can put a note and send a bunch of flowers for free to recipients who are heroes, you know, like our people in Hatzola and CSO Medical, and also to some of our old aged homes here in South Africa. But then in Israel, there are groups of people, social workers, lone soldiers, healthcare workers, and it's taken off, that it's buzzing, you know, that there are more than 36,000 personal notes that have been posted on the website already, sending these bunches all over Israel and South Africa. President Rivlin is sending a bunch of flowers to someone in Israel, and so it's such a feel-good dimension, saying in spite of the kind of world that we're in at the moment with all of its tough challenges, flowers represents the power of unity, the power of coming together, and the beauty, the magnificence and the beauty of Shabbat. And I wanted to ask, we have with us on the line here Biko Arran, who's from Israel, but he's living in Johannesburg at the moment with his wife Liat. Liat is heading up the Israel Center here in South Africa on behalf of the Jewish Agency. And it was Biko's idea that he brought to me, this idea of Flowers for Shabbat and something special. And maybe Biko, you could just share with people some of the notes that are happening all around the world, like that people are sending, is some beautiful and inspiring notes that people are posting on the flowers, and it shows you the greatness of the human spirit and how special it is.
First of all, thank you, Chief Rabbi, for the opportunity today, but in general to organize this amazing event, this amazing operation. I think we haven't imagined, both of us, all of the team, how great and big it can be. I'm sorry for the noise that surrounds us. It's part of Joburg way of living. We lost electricity, and I had to find a place where to make this this webinar. So I'll go. First of all, the most important thing that we are over 45,000 greetings already, meaning that people already shared thousands of optional messages that they shared, they wrote, and it's not only from Israel. I have to admit that we were so excited to see so many other options, and I'll show you now some of the options, some of the ideas that people sent. Here it is. Lost it here. So you can see here that we are already over 45,000.
I saw one of the notes, Biko, while you're finding that. I saw one of the notes that.
Can you see now?
No, we can't see it yet.
Wait. Why?
One of the notes that I saw of someone who's sending to someone living in the Negev, and they said, you know, I visited the Negev a year ago, and I saw the incredible holy work that you're doing. So I wanted to send you a bunch of flowers to acknowledge it. I saw another note of someone who sent to a social worker who's been on the front lines. Rabbi? No, we don't see any notes. We see, but I think maybe Biko, even from memory, just share with us some of the notes that.
So what was surprising, that, for example, we gave an opportunity to write to teachers in South Africa and also in Israel. And then you got messages both from London and from a place in Arizona and also from Toronto, where teachers, sometimes it's teachers in pension, and also from Israel, from a place near Gaza, from Kfar Aza. People sent to teachers, to Jewish teachers in schools, or CSO paramedics got from paramedics in Israel that wrote them a message of sympathy, of solidarity. And by the way, you still can distribute it. The link, we'll share it on the chat. You can you can do it yourself. You can distribute it through the WhatsApp groups and online. There is also an option to share the person who got your delivery. So we have thousands of deliveries all across Israel. 350 different places are gonna have someone with deliveries, with lots of bouquets that is going to visit the place this week in Israel before Shabbat, and also here in the main cities in South Africa to different Jews who are members of the different organizations, volunteers, or people that are part of Chesed organizations. So you can still send those greetings through our special website. Last and very exciting message is to people from Highlands House of the Elderly in Cape Town, where you got a message from someone named Niv from the north of Israel, who wishes Shabbat Shalom, and he knows that's a difficult time, and he doesn't know the old person who will get this message, but he feels close, and that we are part of the same family.
Thank you, Biko. Thank you so much. So the way that it works, everybody, is that you go onto the Shabbos Project website and you'll find all of the details there. There's actually lists of names where the flowers will be delivered to actual people right across Israel and South Africa. And it's such a beautiful way of saying to someone that you don't know, you've never met, just, you know, that I'm thinking of you and wishing you Shabbat Shalom. And it's something which is so special. And the flowers represent the beauty of Shabbat and the beauty of unity. I want to thank everybody for joining us today on this webinar. I want to thank our amazing panel from all over the world, and of course, you know, our wonderful group from here in South Africa. It's been such a joy and an honor to be with all of you. It inspires us all as we prepare for this year's Shabbos Project coming up this week. And thank you all. I think we look forward to the week ahead and look forward to the coming Shabbos, and let's all keep it together. So God bless you all, and thank you so much for joining us today.